Okay guys, we're gonna skip the tail end of the ZIS 5 build. As you can see, I've got pretty much the whole thing is together. The kit was basically a struggle. A lot of the parts didn't go together too well. There was a lot of trimming and filing. The Zveda Russian kit, I would say, was scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to say probably a 5, really. I got everything to look really nice. A lot of trimming, like the steering wheel didn't go together very well. It was too tall. There's a driver that goes in the cab, so I've not attached permanently the top of the cab yet, and you can even see that this doesn't even, this is going to require some fiddling and some fine adjusting to get it to go on. It doesn't want to sit down and seat like it should. So yeah, if you can't find another ZIS 5, I couldn't find one. I was looking around quite a bit online and got this kit. It was pretty cheap. It was like $10, so you can't really complain. But I learned from other videos I showed you in the past that I did not do the transmission. I did not do the engine, because you're not going to see that on a diorama. So yeah, so there's that. So I basically finished the transport truck. Did the base coat in black, of course. Then I went back in with my Russian green, my camo olive green tank. We have the treads on the tank. It's turned out really well, as usual. The Tamiya kit was really fun to build. So he's base coated, top coated. We got the treads on, and we're just this is still not permanently attached, so I'm going to be painting the driver, the commander, basically the crew of the tank I have here. You can see are basically primed. We've got them on the caps, so primed with the airbrush. Got those ready to go. I've got my military miniatures, which are Russian assault troops. Has finally arrived from Japan this week. Got those to the final assembly. That's what we're going to do here. I'm going to assemble one last troop and show you how that goes. We're going to do the trimming, the helmet. I got the little bits of the arms, legs, head, all disassembled here. I haven't cleaned the flashing off yet. We're going to do that here. You can see as an example. It's hard to put these on the caps because I really do need to paint the knees and make sure I get all that detail. So I've been using these for years. It's basically just a clay that doesn't harden. It just stays soft. Modeler's clay. It's basically just a paper clip arrangement. I basically take my finger drill and I drill in the base of their feet, which is the same diameter as the paper clip. Apply a little Bob Smith to the paper clip and get him going that way. So I've got all the trim on him. I've got him pretty well cleaned up with using the side of my blade to get rid of any of the mold lines, which there weren't a lot since these are Tamiya, and using my round file, okay, to get in there and get, particularly with the round file, we're talking areas around the shoulders. We just want to make sure we get a lot of detail out of this, and there's not a lot of mold lines. Now, I have found in the past when you do apply the base coat, which in this case is going to be white, you will find there still may be some mold lines that still need to be cleaned up, and that's fine. You can just, touch up those mold lines and then just reapply some more base coat. So here's our commander. The detail's really good on these Tamiyas. Let me get my light right on there so we can get some good light on him. And yeah, so there you have it. Another great Tamiya kit. So without no further ado, now I'm coming over here, I'm putting these on my Lazy Susan that turns around, and I put all my miniatures on there so I can get them base coated here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through these real quick. I have already, go back here on our cam here, I'm going to come in and just make sure I get any of the mold pieces from the sprues cleaned off, any of the larger chunks off, and then once we get them all glued and assembled, I will come back in with the round file and the blade again. So there's just a little bit of mold line there on the side. I'm going to go ahead and knock that off. So while it's easy to get to and the arms are off. Okay, we've got our waist. We've got one of our big satchels. The other nice thing about these Tamiya military kits is we got all these different accoutrements, different types of weapons. You got your helmets, you got different types of backpacks, shovels, all that cool stuff. So some of you guys, some of my subscribers are sitting around saying, hey, you know what, I really never gotten into doing models. I tell you, it's been really, I really like being able to bounce between a model kit while things are drying and setting up, and then I go over to my paint table, which I'm still pounding out my French. They're getting really close to being ready for basing. So look for those videos I'm going to be putting up for my French infantry, and then once the French infantry is done, I'll be finishing up my British. We're going to go ahead and build out the British and get those going on so I can start thinking about what my next collection for my black powder is going to be for my Waterloo era troops. And as I've mentioned before, one of the plans is to get Hail Caesar, and we're going to do some Hail Caesar builds. I've always wanted to build a really cool Roman army, and of course, me being a German fanatic, I'll have to build some of the Germanic forces that the Romans fought. So definitely be picking up some of those kits. So yeah, that's stuff coming up here, guys. Oh, and don't forget also, while I'm working on finishing up my Brits, I should probably be putting the finishing touches on this Soviet diorama. And I've got that German 88. And yeah, I haven't ordered the transport yet. The oh, it's an 8-ton German half-track that they use a lot to pull those 88 crews around in. And I do plan on picking one of those up. I just have not yet. I did an eBay bid and lost the bid in the last, I don't know, 10 minutes because I fell asleep when the bid went off, and the guy outbid me by $1. So anyway, so that didn't come through. So now assembly. Got our trusty Tamiya glue. We're going to start right off with the get closer in here so we can see what I'm doing here. We're going to go right in with Tamiya, and I just love this stuff. Just love it. It smells good too. It's got that nice chemical smell. Okay, so make sure I'm getting you in the shot here, guys. Sorry. Get him going there. Make sure everything's lined up nice and tight. Maybe come this way just a little bit for you there, guys. And that's how fast it sets up. Now it hasn't completely hardened, but as you can see, it really does set up nice. Now we're going to go in with our torso. Assemble that. Now this is a dude that is standing. Go back just a little bit here. He's standing while he's firing, and I'll show you. You can see him down there to the lower, will be your lower left. So this is what I'll keep next to my build table here. I will look and see that I'm lining things up as I do my assembly. Now that's already set up. What I'm going to do is I get a little bit of seam there, and I find that this is as it melds the plastic together, it really does help with some gap filling properties. Now, you'll see here in the back, you can see there's a nice sized gap. Now, I'm not going to worry about that just yet, because by the time I put like his shovel, canteen, a couple of his packs on, I'll reassess that gap at the base of his torso there. And I cannot say enough good things. If you guys have not picked this up yet, you really need to. This is really a nice product. It's fine tip, so you can get in there, get it in that gap, and then what I have been doing is I've just been taking a brush and I brush it in and get it into the gap, let it dry for a little bit, add a little bit more, and the nice thing is you just take this with your brush wash water and just clean it out because it is water soluble. So it comes right off. I'm thinking about even picking up some small sculpting tools that I can use to work that putty into the crevices. But again, I can't say enough good things about the Vallejo putty and the Tamiya glue. It's just really good stuff. Alright, so torso's done. Let's go in with the rifle arm. The arm that will hold the rifle. So we're going to go in, we're going to put that arm on so it doesn't completely solidify. And the way the Tamiya models are so well built, that joint and that arm pretty much, if you look for how it's been designed, you can see where that arm needs to come up. Right there, see? It really lends itself, and then I'll go back to my, and I'll hold it up and I'll compare the miniature with the thing. So this is another good selling point to Tamiya model kits, guys. It's just, it's also got all the paint schemes, and you can easily pull up these colors on Tamiya and do a cross with the Vallejo. There's all kinds of Vallejo cross charts out there if you're a Vallejo user like me. Now, he doesn't have his hand on there, so what I've noticed is you can take that hand, his little bitty hand and his little bitty gun, and you can join them together to where the hand is really right on the trigger. And I put it on like that. I stick the finger in the trigger, literally. See how I did that? It literally has the hand in the trigger. Now I can easily just come in with the glue, and while the glue's starting to harden, which takes just a little while, I can take that hand and really get it onto the stock of the gun, and before it completely dries, I will do a dry fit. So that's showing me right there that hand needs to be more of an angle. So this is where Tamiya is smart by making the hand separate. Come back further and adjust that angle. But the way that this glue dries, I can really make a lot of adjustments, and it's still sticky and tacky enough. It's still going to stick to the component while I'm making these adjustments. Because this is the fiddly part of dealing with infantry miniatures in terms of modeling miniatures. I'm hoping this is not going to be one of those cases where I have to cut the elbow, because sometimes I've had to do that. I come in and I literally just clip the elbow so I can get more flexibility on my pose. It's starting to look like that's what I'm going to have to do here, guys, because I cannot get that wrist to perfectly line up, and I don't really want to trim the gun stock down. I don't think that would look right. let's just see here a minute. The other option that I have, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to clip that. So here I'm gonna, this is a good example of that. I'm gonna come right in at the elbow, right on the elbow. With my clippers, I'm pushing these two together so they don't go flying apart. One quick clip. And we're gonna get this arm adjusted so that it will marry up with the hand. So I'm going to put a little glue on the wrist. I'm going to come back in with the gun and the hand. I'm going to put those two together so that we have them properly married. So I'm going to set that down for just a second. I'm going to let that set for just a little bit. And in the meantime, we can come in with the head. And get the head attached. Again, I'm going to look at my guide. I want him looking the right direction, looking down the barrel of the gun. Head's in place. A little glue on the top of the head. We're going with our Soviet style helmet. Pretty cool, huh? I love all those little different components. And then I've got my little ammo pouches. We're going to put those on either side of his waist so they're easy to reach. When he needs more ammo, another one over here. Ammo. And then he has a satchel. I'm going to attach. Oh, almost dropped it. I've got a satchel. I'm going to try to figure out where I want this to go. Actually, you know what? I'm going to move that ammo clip. Over to the back. Because it seemed like there's a little strap detail right here that stops. There's a little strap detail. And that's exactly where this, probably like a food pouch. You can put that on there. One of the little tricks I'm going to do, since it doesn't fit perfectly on there, I'm going to come in with my round file. And I'm just going to go in and file that down pretty aggressively to create a crease where I can put that right on his hip and it'll fit like a glove. Tap my file, get some of that excess off of there. Do another dry fit. I'm going to put it on this hip. Oh yeah, a lot better. Much better. Mer bättre. Alright. Put that on there. Dry fit him on. Like his food pouch. I'm going to come in with some more glue back behind, because this is the capillary action, just gets right into those nooks and crannies. And we're going to go about setting this arm. So I'm going to put a little glue on his elbow there. And I'm going to wait, and that's going to soften that plastic up. Then I'm going to come in with my gun in my hand. And I'm going to... Now if it's not perfect and we've got a gap there, it's not a problem because I have this putty. But it should help me get this arm looking realistic. Let me see what I need to do here because it's not coming together so well. This is why I want to film some of this, guys, because this is part of model building. This is actually some of the fun of model building, is making these adjustments. So I'm going to come in, I'm actually going to trim a little bit more off of that elbow joint. And trim a little bit more off. final adjustments. Yeah, that's going to be a lot better. So I need to make more of an angle right there. Because we've got our putty, our trusty putty over here. You can see it's not set up enough. It's starting to separate. So you get the idea. So I'm going to cut away here. I dropped one of my little ammo packs, and I'll get this sorted out, but to give you an idea of the kinds of things that you can do with your trusty clippers and just getting your shaver, get in there and keep shaving stuff off until things go together nice and smooth. Then we'll put the supporting arm on, and this got to be ready for a wrap. Alright, real quick guys, I'm going to show you, this guy was a real challenge, but this is out of the 5 minis. Oh, get in the shot here, Al. Out of the 5 minis. What I did was I actually ended up grafting in. He hasn't completely dried yet, but I wanted to show you guys real quick. I ended up grafting in. Come on, focus. I saved the little pieces that I cut off of the elbow, and I actually just glued them back in there, because what we'll do is as that finishes drying, that elbow joint, we'll go in with some putty. We'll put a little putty in there, kind of like you would with your green stuff. Wait for that to dry, and then go back in with my nice flat and round file and shape and form that. This would be an extreme case. Most of the military miniatures I put together in the, well, this is my 3rd diorama. This guy was definitely the most extreme. I could not get that elbow the way it was molded on the kit to get the proper firing position. So that's what I did. And then what I'll do is, once this completely dries and we get him puttied, we'll come in, I'll drill a little hole in one of his base of his boot, and we'll get this guy stuck on his little holder. And here's one of them guys right here. We'll put that on there. And I've used them for all different kinds of miniatures over the last many years. So I'm going to lay him down gently, let him dry up and solidify. And I'm going to go with some putty and some filing, and he should be ready to base coat.